T. The Lions leave La Belle Provence at 2-3. Was that a gritty win? A pretty win? Who knows? Let's deliberate and definitely celebrate. Next up on the 3 Down Bros. Leo's Legion, your 3 Down Bros here. Week 5, Roland, Arthur, and Greg. The Lions are now 2-3. Looks a lot better than 1-4. They leave La Belle Provence, as I said, with a gritty, or some say pretty win, but definitely a season saver. Much needed as far as this 3 Down Bro goes. But let's see what other high-level thoughts we got in the room this week, starting with Roland.
All right, great. So Blake says, "Gentlemen, start your engine." Hey, Blake, nice to see you again. And he says, "More importantly, start the bus, because that was an ugly win." It sure was an ugly win, but we managed to get it done. So first off, if you're joining us on the live stream, we're glad that you can join us tonight. We'd love to chat with you, so please feel free to use the YouTube chat to let us know your thoughts and comments. Just like Blake did, we'll show it on screen, and then we'll chat with you. But my high-level thoughts, and I put this in a title in a couple of our shorts, is that it was overcoming adversity. Man, there was a lot of adversity throughout the whole game. Some of them warranted, some of them maybe unwarranted, but still a lot of adversity. And yet we hung in there, and then at the very end, we were able to pull it off, win by 1 point. So, I was very happy with that. The two things that Buck Pierce was preaching, physicality and overcoming adversity and toughness. I think we saw some of that. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Blake says QB1 and Kicker1 are my heroes. They sure are. On to you, Arthur.
Well, a win's a win, Greg. There's and Blake, no ugly wins, especially when you're on the road, and especially you're sitting at 1-3 with a tough schedule. No bye week yet. Don't get me started on this crazy, wacky CFL schedule. But a win is a win on the road. And with all the most of it self-inflicted errors, a turnover again, lots of penalties, they made some good plays. And when it counted in the fourth quarter, they put up some points. And they made some big plays in the fourth quarter. That is what was missing in the prior losses, apart from, Nathan worked last two, was big plays in the fourth quarter. And that's what plagued the Lions last year as well, the last 2/3 of the year, big plays in the fourth quarter. Last night, they got it done. So kudos to them. Well-deserved win, but they got to follow it up. Right, Greg?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? I first want to apologize to my brother, Arthur. You know what? He says, just be patient, be patient. I'm the last guy that you need to tell to be patient. Actually, no, I'm the first guy you need to tell to be patient, because, man, I was ready to rag those Lions. Like, they have yet to get that buckness in them, that to be able to, the physicality, yeah, it's starting to show, but that mental toughness that Roland and the rest of us talked about all year last year, and the year before.
Buckness, right?
Yeah, the buckness.
Okay, so you didn't mispronounce a word.
No, that's the bucknessity. I don't know. That's another Gregism. But that mental toughness really did show to me on that night, because the Lions of old, when all those, some warranted and most not warranted. Yes, I'm going out saying the Owls, in my mind, played with 13 men all night. One of them was in a different uniform than the rest of the Owls. But, man, those calls,
striped uniform?
Yes, a striped uniform. Some of those calls, most of those calls to me were not warranted, or they weren't even, right? And the Lions of old, previous seasons, whatever you want to call it, would have shown frustration and actually drawn more penalties, and which would be warranted. But this time they kept it pretty even keel. They kept their temper, and they just kept going. And yeah, definitely made those plays when it counted. And like Blake said, it's because of QB1. Again, all due respect to Mr. Mazzoli, but QB2 may not have had them that close going into that final minute. And if they were that close, I don't think QB2 would have got them into position for that win. So what the?
So Perry says, change your number 3 jerseys already. 3 down, bros. So I think Perry thinks this is a VA's jersey.
No, it's not.
No,
maybe
Perry.
one of us. Okay, maybe I'll do the turnaround then. Okay, can you guys
see? There we go. Come on, Perry.
Perry, I for the record, Perry, I wanted 12s, but I got outvoted.
Well, we're not the 12 down bros. See, so
I don't know.
No, it doesn't matter.
We could have a 3 down bro nation and have a bunch of people join. I don't know. Come on, Perry. If you go to the games, everybody in our section knows that the 3 is the bros. Everybody says hello.
All right.
Okay, Perry, we need to talk. We'll talk off air. But yeah, that was a good game, and I don't care. Like Arthur says, pretty win, gritty win. It was definitely a needed win. So
it was, yeah. All right. Okay, let's read one more comment. Habs for Life says, backup is so important. It's why Montreal was competitive in that game with a good backup. Yeah, for sure. Robert says, a wild finish to the game. The Lions never gave up. Unfortunately, the win was marred by a shameful brawl. Yeah, at the end. I expect Toure to be fined or suspended. Yeah. I think, we don't have the full story because both sides are giving different stories. But anyway, yeah, for sure, that was not, that was unwarranted. Okay, I'm going to show, this is the first time we're doing this, actually. We have an actual agenda for today.
Yeah, normally we just fly by the seat of our pants, right?
We just fly by. So this is kind of the order of kind of what we want to talk about. So adversity, we started talking about that. Officiating, Greg kind of hinted on that, and then we'll go offense, defense, special teams. So that's kind of the desired order. And so if you have some thoughts on offense, for example, then you can wait till we get to that section and then let us know your thoughts. So we'll start off with adversity. Adversity. We started off with a good drive and then a pick on Nathan Rourke. That was the first adversity, right? I don't think Nathan is 100%. Arthur is going to take control of this. I see him nodding to Perry's comment there. So yeah, I don't think Rourke is 100%. There was that pick. Some passes were not as accurate as what we've seen him before, but he fought through that. He fought through that, and Blake says 8 for 108 in the first half. 8 for 108.
8 passes for 108 yards.
Okay.
Or 8 penalties for 108 yards.
Yeah, that's what
Is
it
that
is.
penalties? Yeah, I think.
Well, we'll get to that next one once. I'm going to keep the cork in the bottle here for now until they let me.
But Roland, that pass to Hatcher in the end zone. Initially I thought, okay, that's a pretty. There's tight coverage, and I did notice the DB give him a shove in the back, right? When he leapt up, and that's why.
Shiver.
That's why Hatcher fell forward versus trying to come up to the ball, and it was underthrown.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
No problem was underthrown. Like that definitely is right. But with the standard of how they were calling the rest of the PIs and the illegal contact on the receiver, that should have been flagged PI.
Easily.
So to me, it's like, okay, all right, they're gonna let him play. That's fine. But then when I saw those little ticky-tack calls on the Lions DBs, some of them were more like warranted.
Yes.
Like I think when you mentioned there were Roland,
Yeah.
but some of them were pretty ticky-tack. To me, it ruins the integrity of the product.
Agreed.
Because you're like, okay, is there gonna be a flag? Let them play. Like if it's a mugging, throw it, right? But let them play. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, for sure. It felt like a lot of the calls were going against us. In the first half of the game, right?
Well, all those illegal contact and PIs, those only seem to happen on second and long. They were never on the first down. And yes, okay, we noticed that Montreal's doing the double moves, and it was seeming to just draw us into that pattern of just biting, and but I mean, come on, every time, and like those illegal contacts, it's no different than like Arthur said, that shove that Hatcher took. You put a hand on him, but they didn't stop the progress. They didn't grab the guy. They didn't change his direction. But Lordy.
Yeah. Blake says Tom Valesi more like Tom throw my flag E. I mean,
I like Blake.
To be fair, I mean, they were marginal calls, right? Marginal calls. And there's one or two ways that we can go with. We could say, okay, either be consistent. If you're going to call marginal calls, call it on both sides.
Definitely.
But I guess on our side, we can only control what we do, right? So if they're calling these marginal calls, then our DBs need to stop making contact when they know that it could be called, right?
I think they adjusted too slow.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah, it's true, Roland. You're exactly right. They had adjusted too slow. The coaching needs to say, okay, come on. I mean, after the first couple, I mean, they've had how many? It was ridiculous. So, like, okay, we can't do that. And there was obviously, they actually touched, right? Maybe in previous games you got away with it.
Yeah.
But not with tonight, not with that last night and that crew.
Yeah.
Well, my biggest worry was that, and I think I said this to you guys, it's going to get into their heads, right? I mean, if they're getting marginal, I mean, hey, all kudos that they didn't lose it and lose their temper and take stupid penalties. But at the same time, if they're like now paranoid as a DB and you're backing off, now the receivers can do whatever they wanted, right? And I'm just glad they were able to just stay the course. Like you said, maybe the coaching talked to them later on, like adjust quicker or don't bite on the double move or whatever. But I'm just glad they were able to just keep Montreal in check, at least, keep the score where the offense could do what they did at the end of the game.
Yeah. So Blake says 4 PI, at least 2 or 3 illegal contact. And it's frustrating. Like for us watching the game, it was very frustrating. Imagine for the players, it was really frustrating for them, right? Captain Buttershirt says Tom seemed to relish the opportunity to state the penalties against the Lions. Yeah, even one of the TSN announcers, right, at some point later in game, I think he said something like, we probably should be seeing some penalties go against Montreal by now. Wayne says, with the Eskimos winning tonight, West is definitely the stronger division.
Well,
yeah, for
the
sure.
Elkimos, I like that, Wayne.
Elkimos,
nice job,
very
man.
nice, very nice, very nice.
Sure, the Edmonton marketing team will give you a call, Wayne. Good job.
So yeah, so that's where a little bit of the mental toughness and adversity is coming in.
Because you mean how to handle the adversity.
If we were frustrated, imagine the players are frustrated, and that's probably why there was a brawl at the end, right? All that frustration got bottled up, and it just came out at the end with that brawl, right? But for them to be able to have enough sense to still be able to win this game at the end shows me that okay, we're starting to learn what overcoming adversity means. Perry says Lions played with desperation. Yeah, that's right.
Perry, you might have been again. I said that, and now you should have been there to have my back when Arthur's like, relax. But okay.
No, I'm saying you do not need to
You relax.
press the panic button. I need those guys to play desperate and fast and physical.
And they
you, Greg, need to relax.
So Robert says Rourke and the rest of the team can build on this win. Definitely, it's a little bit of a character win, right? Because of that overcoming adversity. Captain Buttershirt says I agree. Blake says I have no comment on the brawl. It just makes me mad.
Well, at least they have each other's back. And again, I think this was a better win this way than if they blew Montreal out. Again, like we said last year, a lot of those bigger wins masks the warts, hides the weaknesses. This one, like you said, Ron, I think it was gut check, and they realized what they can do when facing all that adversity or the 13th man in the striped shirt. And like Buck said in the post game locker room, build on it, learn from this. Celebrate it and just keep getting better.
Perry says Greg is the toughest member of the 3 Down Bros, no question.
Okay, I'm buying Perry Burger.
All right. Okay.
Arthur, I can see it. It's good. Arthur's holding it. Next one, more. Right. Next point.
All right. So we've done adversity. I think we talked a bit about officiating too. So maybe let's now jump to offense. All right. So offense. Oh, Blake says absolutely not Team Roland. Okay, I guess is Blake saying that I'm the least toughest of the three of us? All right. Okay, offense. Thoughts on the offense. I guess we'll start with you, Greg.
QB1 back in the saddle for that game, definitely needed. We talked about before coming on the air or before starting the stream that I was worried, hindsight being like, what if he got injured during that game and it made the injury worse? But if he got it through, great. If he wasn't at 100%, great. But I'd take an 80% QB1 over 100% QB2. As much as, again, as nice a guy as Mazzoli is, we don't win. We don't come out of there respectable or victorious without QB1. And I think just he was able to, take control of when he needed to. And I think like Roland says, he gets the rest of the team to give that extra percent because they know he's the guy. And you know what? I don't know what he says in the huddle or what he does in the locker room, but it was needed. So the offense I thought was steady from what we saw. Again, some throws off target, but Rust. I'll give it to Rust.
Yeah.
Arthur?
Well, yeah, definitely had a great game. And he had a couple of throws that he missed a target. That couple of throws, if it was put perfectly, the receiver would have caught. But no, those were on second down. That he missed a couple of throws. But he's under some pressure, I guess, and he needs the live reps. It's been a couple of weeks. But they got away from the running game. I think Haps was just mentioning that. I remember it was 2nd and 3. They ran up the middle and they got stuffed, right? And then it was a promising drive. But that's Buck. Like it's 2nd and 3. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball, running the ball, and we're gonna be physical, and we're gonna impose our will on you, and we're gonna win that battle, right? And what? 2nd and 3. You should be able to get 3 yards on a running play, right? The defense is 1 yard off the ball, and you should be able to man on man and out-block them, out-scheme them, and just get it done. So, yeah, if it's predictable on 2nd and 3, and you get stuffed, you got to learn. I mean, I don't mind it because in the playoffs, 2nd and 3, you're gonna have to convert it, and you can't okay, let's just throw it. And no, you need to pound it on the ground, because then what happens? You get that first down, you get more, and you keep ramming it down their throats.
Rolling ball.
That imposes your will on that defense, and that defense cowers more than a passing attack. Passing attack, it's very fearful, but I mean, when you run it down their gut, and you just keep running it down their gut. That is, I think that makes a massive statement. Then like one big bomb. I mean, it's nice. It's nice, but I think that that is the attitude that Buck wants to bring. So I'm okay with it. They have to practice it again. It being stuffed in week 5, okay. I mean, not great, as long as they get it for the playoffs.
Gotta work on it. Blake says, I absolutely love the RPO play where he races to the line and then throws a pass. Yeah, I did that a few times. Captain Buttershirt says, Rourke seemed willing to share the targets. Hatcher was well covered, and the other receivers picked up the slack.
Yeah. That was very noticeable with Mazzoli. I think he was just, again, maybe that's his security blanket, McInnes and Hatcher being the guys that they are, and he forced a lot of those.
Yeah, for sure. Wayne says, we definitely need Nathan at QB1, obviously, but the defense has to improve their play. Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about defense in a bit after we finish with the offense. Robert says, the rest of the players feed off Rourke's leadership and confidence. Yeah, for sure. I queued up a couple of plays that I want to show you guys because I was really impressed with this because we haven't seen a lot of this. So let me cue it up. Okay. All right. So it's this one here. All right. So it's a pass to Barry Hill.
And just darts. Yeah, I like that.
But look how he got. Okay, actually, there's more. The reason he got the first down there, and you'll see this on the replay.
Yes.
All right. So you got our number 1, number 2, and number 3 receivers. Number
Boom,
1,
boom,
number
boom.
2, and number 3 receivers all blocking for him. Look at the size of that hole. Right.
And with his speed, off with first 2 steps, yep.
The size of that hole, because we got Hatcher, McInnes, and Kotoy here, all blocking for him. You know, we talked about this so much the last how many years?
I've lost track.
Our receivers don't know how to block, and we're starting to see that now. So you know, that's something that I really like. Perry says, great job, Roland. Thanks. Teamwork. And Robert says, great blocking. Okay, another one I wanted to show you. And this was a very interesting play because of the way how it developed. Okay, here, let me just clear this first. All right.
Only 7 points in the board in the last play of the first quarter, but there has been offense from both of these sides. Opportunities.
So Nathan's looking, nothing. He starts going up, and then he just throws the ball
Oh, I
to
love that play.
McInnes. And then look at all the guys in front of McInnes, right? So this was not a planned play. So the play broke down, and then, you know, he got creative there. He starts running. He was gonna run, and then he sees McInnes, so he just throws that ball, and McInnes gets it, sheds a tackle there. And then look here, the moment his teammates see that, you know, this guy, and this guy, you know, turn up and start blocking for him, right? And then Butler comes up and joins.
Una needs to smack that guy in his ass.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
Then McInnes might have turned
scored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if he ran ahead of like that
Yeah.
other angle, I mean, maybe it's the camera, but he should have gone up in front of Una instead of waiting for Una because Una's too slow.
Una
If you
just
come
needs to
back-
hit him hard, man.
Yeah. If you can you back it up, Ro?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking McInnes could have gone up in there, like up between Una and
No,
Horvath,
no,
but
no.
maybe
He's
he
trying to,
can't.
yeah. But then Una just needs to just push that guy down.
with his own
Pickett's
guy.
trying to- Pickett. He pushed Pickett out of the way.
Well, that's Horvath. Pickett's 45.
That's Horvath, yeah.
Yeah. And then but by pushing Horvath out of the way, doesn't have the right angle on the Montreal guy.
Yeah.
And then Sankey, being the heat-seeking missile that he is, comes in and destroys.
Try to
McInnes.
cut back on Sankey. That's not going to work.
No,
So
just keep running out to that sideline, man. Just keep going
Yeah.
outside.
yeah, so that's what you know, Greg was shouting. Just come out this way, right?
Because the pursuit's coming from where he's trying to cut back.
It was,
so you,
it
yeah.
was. But still, you know, the point I wanted to catch here was that all these guys,
showed
you know,
up.
before they would just be hanging around, you know, looking at McInnes and just cheering him on, right? But this time that's no longer the case, right? So you know, those were some positives that I'm seeing, you know, little things, right? But this is how you build culture.
Yep.
Right? That's how you build culture. Oh, Perry's saying color commentator. Okay, thank you, Perry. I'll buy you a burger after great.
Oh, man. Doesn't take much to please you guys.
Hey, he said you got to take charge, man. He thinks you're the boss.
I know, that's right. All right.
Oh, I agree with Captain Buttershirt. Yes. Howie Meeker of the Telestrator. No, Roland's got him beat. Yes.
All right. Okay, so that's the offense. Anything else you guys wanted to touch on the offense? How was the O line?
I think they were decent.
They made some holes, get some decent protection, especially in the crunch time in the fourth quarter. I think they stepped up, right? I mean, you needed to make 28 seconds. They needed what, 20 some yards? Yeah, all right. And then the previous play, they got the touchdown. So they stepped up in the fourth quarter, right? So they're learning.
Yeah.
They're without arguably their best O lineman right now in Dijon Allen. So Una's still developing and progressing, so they'll need him to keep progressing. And they got some injuries as well. So I think all things considered.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Defense. Okay, defense. So I guess we'll start with Arthur. Thoughts on defense. There were some comments earlier as well that I'll show, but
Well, I mean that first drive was not not a good start for the defense, right? So pretty much 3 plays, 3 big explosive plays, and it seemed like they weren't ready to play, right, on defense.
Yeah.
So that was very, very concerning. But after that, hey, you got to give them credit. Mind you, against a backup quarterback, they didn't give up a TD for a while, right?
No.
So
No, they buckled.
so
it down.
they buckled. And then they missed some tackles. I didn't like. Yeah, of course, the run was not good. They missed some tackles. They gave a lot of penalties, and they were grabbing. Yes, they were putting their hands on Alouettes receivers for sure, like illegal contact. Whether they're early, I've seen just as much contact on Lions receivers in previous games, and nothing. I don't think it gets called. So I'm not sure, but give them credit. And near the end, they needed stops. You know, they forced the last minute field goal, right? Right? They held them to that field goal. Previous games they let the fourth quarter. They get close, they get far away. The defense buckles, but this time they stood ground. So I think, all in all, there needs to be improvement, especially with the penalties in the secondary. They did get some pressure. Run defense, of course, is going to be an ongoing concern.
Yeah. Great. Okay, Greg, your thoughts on the defense?
Yeah, I pretty much Arthur said everything that I was going to say. They buckled down when they needed to. They didn't lose it. Get with all the frustration that they could have had with all those ticky-tack calls. Yeah, we know you got 5 yards to lay your hand on it, or to jam the receiver, whatever it is. But again, like Arthur said earlier in the show, let them play, because it looks like they were going to do it. But I mean, if you're going to call the wimpy stuff, call it on both sides. But they didn't. The defense got through it. They didn't, start second guessing or play tentative. They just stayed playing the way they were coached to. And yeah, they, again, like I said earlier, they kept the score within reach. And I don't know, maybe it's just, is it coaching or is it just personal choice? But our certain defensive ends that we've got are not containing that run. They're coming in so shallow. We were getting beat by STE around that corner every single time he touched the ball, because our ends were going in to try to, I don't know, they were trying to get him early in the backfield or what, but it wasn't working, and they were getting gashed as much as Blake is saying. And I'm a little worried, because if those are our starting rotation defensive ends, they're both doing the same thing, and it's making us very susceptible, because now they're just crowding our defensive tackles, and they can't get anything done because our defensive ends are in the way. I don't know if they're trying to get a sack or what they're trying to do, but it's not working.
I think they're trying to crash on the run. They're trying to crash on the B gaps.
It's not working.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if that's a game plan or if that's what they're trying to. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. But again, maybe it's just that game. But it's frustrating to watch. But I'll give if we want to letter grade them, from my opinion, I'll give the defense a good solid C + B for the way they played. Because that like Arthur said, that first drive, that was an F.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 runs and then Philpott.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Aviation.
Talon's Aviation says, "What's up, fellas? Proud of y'all from Winnipeg." Oh, from Winnipeg on the big dub. Hey, Talon. Great for you to join us. Blake says, "Imagine more games of Brady and or AJ." Yeah. Blake said earlier, defense still getting gashed on the run.
Yep.
Yeah. Perry says, "Disastrous D at the start." I felt that our D played better at the first half of the Saskatchewan game last week than they did in the first half of this game against Montreal. And what really disappointed me, and Blake mentioned this too, is our 2 of our veterans, Gary Peters and Awe, two veterans, was playing sloppy, like Peters got beat twice,
like a rug. You can say it. You got beat like a rug. I'll say it.
And then Awe
2-3 times, pretty decisively.
Yeah, flat-footed too, like just like not knowing where to go, like not even knowing how to attack the player, like make the tackle. Yeah,
and then Awe making weak tackles, where the guy just breaks free, and if he got him, he would have not gotten the first down, but then such a weak tackle. Another one where Awe just basically tries to throw him out of the field, and he was still like 5 yards off from the edge of the field, right? So, a little bit disappointing from our veterans there, right? Blake says he's old, would make a great coach, but he's lost that step.
Do we want to talk about GP now, guys?
Sure. Let's talk about GP since Blake's bringing it up.
Greg, what do you think?
Well, you know what I've been saying. Like, I'm starting to think GP is in that TJ Lee area of losing that step, because again, he's very susceptible on the double move, and then again, I don't know if he knows he has to give up that cushion for speed, but he doesn't seem to close at the right angle a lot of the times lately, and it really looks like he's lost a step and a half. I don't know about replacing him, but because again, what would you replace him with?
Carter. Actually, he's playing better than him.
Well, Carter's already on the field, so.
Well, you switch field to boundary.
Oh, switch positions. That might be
because boundary you're going to get more action, right?
Yeah,
we got a volunteer.
Yeah, good job, Blake. Yeah.
Oh boy,
how's your
Blake.
back pedal, Blake? What's your closing speed, Blake?
You might not lay off those burgers for a while there, Blake.
Oh,
if you want to play corner, I mean, come on.
It's a very unforgiving position, man. Trust me. But no, I really will go on record saying, and the guys know I have said he's getting there with TJ, and I mean, as much as I love TJ and GP, it's, what have you done for me lately? And it doesn't look like a lot.
Yeah, it's tough.
Or maybe again, and we chatted about this the day we watched the game. I did not think the defense looked ready to play. They didn't. The team didn't look ready to start. I don't know. They just looked. Maybe it was the time difference. I don't know. But they didn't look ready.
Hey, at least it's not a 10 a.m. start like what they usually would do.
Oh yeah.
Like 1 p.m. Eastern start.
Yeah.
It was respectable, like 4 p.m. Pacific, right? So.
Yeah. But no, I think GP's either got to figure out his game and just retool it, or maybe
It's hard to make that change in season. Who do you have? They have Perryman, right? They can move one of that. You can move
Perryman. Wasn't Perryman cut?
You're not sure. They can move Kent. I think when one of the corners goes down, Kent goes to the corner. I mean, this is what you have to deal with. I mean, this is what you have. I mean, to potentially make a swap, it's got to be an off-season move.
Yeah, or like you said, just switch positions with one already there. That might, But Kent,
I don't know if you're a big Carter. I don't know if you're a big Carter guy.
Well, again, I said he didn't look ready, but again, prove me wrong. But
he made some good plays in the field. He made in the field.
But Kent we were wondering who got victimized on that Philpott touchdown at first contact. That was Kent. He turned him inside out. Kent was just a very weak arm tackle attempt, and just so. Oh, Perryman. Is that who
well, they don't. I mean, they can bring more people in. It's hard, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
To bring someone in.
There was one guy who played really well. Is he injured right now? I can't remember his name now. A few games ago, I can't remember his name. He was one of our backups, and he played a game, and he was making good hits, and he was all over the place. I forgot his name.
Like a DB, right?
Yeah, DB. Yeah.
Like Coyle. Like they have Coyle, but he got injured last game. Dante Williams, he's been the nickel.
Yeah, no, Perryman was cut on last round of cuts, so he's not on the roster.
So Dante Williams is now their outside linebacker, the Sam, right? Or the nickel, depends on how they look at it. But I mean, it's something that they can adjust. But then, what do you do with a respected veteran? You already lost TJ Lee. So does the leadership of
attaboy, Perry,
Lions defense? Well, I mean, he's great. He's your age, man.
I think he's older than me, but
yeah, okay.
anyway, we won't go there.
So, I mean, do you put because you lost TJ, and then if you shuffle GP out, then the leadership of the defense goes to like Awe or Betts,
Yeah.
and then the rest of them are very young. You need that leadership because then when things are gonna go awry, especially on defense, right, Greg? Things go awry, like
You have
the
to have
other
a calming
team.
influence, yeah.
Yeah, you need. I don't know, but
And
it's a tough
all due
discussion.
respect to Roland's guy, Mr. Betts, I don't think he's that type of leader that he can just settle him down and just GP. I think is a little bit better suited for that than Betts.
Yeah.
And yeah, 100% right, Arthur. But maybe you do switch him for a game, just like they Ragumba was getting beat all the time, so they switched him and TJ Lee, and they put TJ at that nickel Sam spot, and it seemed to work. Maybe you need to switch Carter and GP.
Yeah, then you give him a little bit more time because if he's on the. I mean, it's again with the way they've adjusted the hashes for this year. There's not that. I mean, well, unless you have a Mazzoli throwing to you in the field, then or Caleros on Thursday night.
Yeah,
because he was throwing to the wide side, and then you have a chance to take it the other way.
All right. Was Betts a big factor in this game?
We'll let Roland answer that one first.
Yeah, Roland, we'll let you. You're one of your favorite players.
So let's see. No sacks, right? No sacks.
Let me take a look.
Do you have any tackles?
Let me see. Matthew Betts.
He might still be nursing that elbow injury.
Elbow?
Yeah.
2 tackles.
I think he assisted on the Toure sack, though, did he not? Because, I mean, he was there. He turned the quarterback into Toure, I think.
Yeah, he drew the penalty that got us the shorter field on the kickoff. Right. So he was the recipient of that punch.
The Edmonton game where Peters got the interception and turned on his head. How about that? Oh, that was the last.
No. It was a Caleros underthrow to Beaulieu.
Oh, that's right, Beaulieu. That's right. Yes, that's right. At the home game, the home Winnipeg game, right?
That was a gift, right? This is a pure underthrow.
Yeah. So Captain Buttershirt, the D has been run through as the O's have been giving up the ball too quickly. That's what happened in Saskatchewan, right? Hard to defend when gassed. Yes, hope yesterday was the turnout. Yeah, the time of possession was even yesterday, so unlike the Saskatchewan game.
Well, yeah. Again, that's QB1 making the big difference. So.
Yeah.
So Matthew Betts, what was it? 3 tackles?
2 tackles. Yes.
2 tackles. For the amount of money they're paying him, I think he needs to do a little more.
Just a touch.
I mean, I know he's injured, and they're maybe they are taking him out by covering him, doubling him, but he needs to get into the play a bit more. Or they have to scheme to get him more involved, right? It could be coaching as well.
Well, I used to say he was getting held too much, but now I'm starting to wonder.
I mean, there were still holds. I still see some holds that weren't being called. Hasselhoff says, I think he had good pressure. Yeah, I did see, not sure about yesterday, but for the most part in the games this year, he's rushing the quarterback. He's forcing him to get the ball out quickly. Yeah, Perry says slow starts. Yeah, that's something that we need to improve on. I think that's someone mentioned that. I can't remember who.
That was my key to the game.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yep, score early and that went out the window quick.
Score early. No. Yes, get a quick lead.
Yes,
and stop the run.
Yeah.
Montreal heard you.
Oh man, yeah, that was Montreal's key.
Yeah.
For 59 minutes? In 30 seconds?
All right. Perry says, Arthur, you are intelligent.
Wow.
I guess,
Perry, just give
3 burgers. One from each.
Wow,
sending
Perry.
bouquets out. Sending bouquets to everybody.
Blake says there's another bright spot to this win. What's that, Blake?
Well, we're moving on to special teams. Blake's favorite player.
Is that what Blake's talking about, or is he talking about something else?
There's only one thing to talk about when you're talking about Blake.
All right.
Unless there's an O'Shea retirement that I do not know of.
All right. Okay. Our last. Okay. Blake says the Lions won't be last in people's power rankings. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, come on. They were not last. The Elks were always there.
Robert says Colares served up 2 pick-6 pizzas.
Yeah.
All right. So special teams. We won't spend too long on this, but thoughts on special teams. I have a play that I've queued up on this one too on special teams. But let's go with Arthur first.
Watching the CFL this weekend, you see all these dynamic returners, all these touchdowns on the return team. Greg, I know, hold your mouth, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, I don't like this. To me, one of my pet peeves with the CFL is just too much kicking, because I'm a Lions fan, and when they receive a punt, I'm like, okay, well, let's just get 10 yards and just hold on to the ball, right? Because that's my expectation. So there's no enjoyment, and you know, there's so much kicking that happens. So
what do you mean by so much kicking? Like,
well,
to me,
3 downs, right? If you go 2 and out, you're kicking, right? There's a lot more kicking because
it's a lot more kicking
you know where
and
Arthur's
punting.
coming from, Roland, but we won't give him that opportunity.
So,
A lot of kicking and punt
for 4
kickoffs.
downs? Is that like
Don't Roland, don't go there, man. Don't go there.
Like if it's 3 downs, you gotta have kicks, and that's why kicking is a big part of the game, right?
I think that there's other ways to change the game. If you want to keep the 3 downs, I mean, this is a bigger discussion for another day. But if we want to have less kicking, then, you know, maybe we go 11 men on field, right? With the wide field, right? Because just too many 2 and outs.
But that's part of our game. The reason.
Well, I know it's part of the game, but to me, I just don't like so much punting.
But that's why no lead is safe. If the offense can hold on to the ball, and if it's easier for the offense to hold on to the ball, then we're going to be like the NFL, where it's so boring. You know, once you have a lead, you can't catch it.
It's not boring.
Fair catch.
Yeah.
It's not boring because you have to stop. You got to stop that drive, right? Because it's taking up a lot of time. You have to man up and stop that drive and get the ball back. And then when you have it, you do the same thing.
Yeah,
that, you know. Yeah. So I'm just saying. I mean, again, just for my benefit. I mean, we'll tackle this in another component podcast.
So,
there's ways to get around. Yeah, Perry.
Shut him
that's
down.
right.
He just
shut him down.
That's right, Blake. This is not. I do not do the fair catch. You just lost your burger there, Perry.
Yeah.
To me,
thank you, Wayne. Wayne, you now get Perry's burger.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Wayne of the Elkamos.
Anyways, so how many punt return touchdowns do we have? So we get a lot of kicks. Like it was pretty awesome. Like these games this weekend. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just want to go back on the kicks, right? So my original point is we need a returner.
Heck yeah.
Who's dynamic, who can maybe return a punt like, well, let's say Alfred in previous weeks. They had Grant, like they had these guys. The guy that in Hamilton we had last year in our roster, we didn't
Isaiah
play.
Wooden.
I know.
Perry, overrated, Perry. Sorry, you're not getting your burger back, Perry. Clash is overrated.
And then, like, to me, we need someone. I don't know what it is. Is it scheme? Is it blocking? Is it the runner themselves? But
I think
please give me some excitement when I look at these dreadful kicks.
It's both. Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing. I mean, cover teams are decent.
Yes,
of course.
Cover teams improved once Benavides took over from. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Blake's favorite player. 3 for 3 in field goals. Just missed the one point convert, but that wasn't necessarily his fault.
The snap was coming. The snap was on the ground too, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's all timing.
Yeah. So Blake's point here. This is why I love the CFL. Right, the kicking game is exciting, dynamic, and unpredictable. So I'm sorry, bro, Arthur. I can't agree with your points, but
that's
anyway.
good. That's good. We need. My point is, we need to get one of these.
Yeah.
Because
so Arthur's echoing me. Yeah. I'm here. I'm with you, Arthur, on that returner. But We'll have a chat about that, Blake, but he was okay. He was okay.
Boy, Greg has high standards.
Yeah, I do.
You had that Gizmo poster up still in your room there?
I got Gizmo. I got Mel Bird up in my room still, man. But
yeah. So Wayne says, I love the name El Quimos. I think they should adopt the name El Quinos. We should print that out in a banner and hold it. Oh no, it's an away game next week with that. Yeah.
That's okay. We could do it during our pregame. Give credit to Wayne. Okay. Yes, Blake. Yes. Yeah, but sure. Anyway, I shall wait my turn.
Captain Buttershirt. In a low economy league, we need 3 downs to keep some balance. There will always be a chance for the underdog. I agree with Arthur. We need a better return.
I've been saying that since the 3 down bros were in inception. I've been saying we need a return game. Yeah. But I'll wait my turn.
Hassel Life Jackson is number 9th in returns so far.
That's great when you have 9 teams in the league.
Yeah, that's right. Remember, we got Terry Williams, the number 1 punt returner in the league. Well, yeah, because Ottawa, our number 1 kick returner, because Ottawa kept getting scored on, right? Didn't mean jack, but anyway.
Okay. Wayne wants Elkinos is nice though, right?
When they play us, they're the Elkinos. Yeah, Sorry, Mom.
All right, let's go with Greg. Your thoughts on special teams, and then I have one play I want to queued up that I want to show.
Okay. Well, the return game sucks. Bottom line, it sucks.
Really?
Because I've been calling Vector because again, even if you don't have the speed, just put the effort in to take the fan.
No, you can't do Vector with no speed, man. Well, that's covered.
I mean, I will say it to Arthur, like, I don't care if we got a guy that scores a touchdown on a return, but take us out of our seats. Because right now it's like punt. I'm like Arthur, I go get something out of the fridge to eat and come back. And it's like, we know it's going to happen. They're going to run into the crowd. My wife, who is not a football person, she's like, why does that guy always run to where the people are? Isn't the goal to run away from the tackle? I said, yes. I mean, but just pull me out of my seat and give me the, kind of like that same Pavel Bure coming out from behind his net, that rush. It just gets you out of your seat because it could happen. I'll take a 30-yard return before a touchdown. I'm lowering my bar. But we need a returner that has field vision. I'm sorry, when you're 5'7", 5'9", 5'10", 175, you're not busting through a tackle. I'm sorry. We've seen it too many times when Rick Campbell brought in the little scat back returner. They're pulled down with one arm. They run into a guy like, I think it was Jackson's first return yesterday, runs into a guy, stops, dead. You've got the running start. Just go to a sideline. You learned that in minor football. Go outside, get what you can. You're going to get more than when you go into the crowd. It's just, no. Yeah. And yes, and I agree, but don't be telling me the Lions signed a speedster who's got 4.5 40. We talked about that a couple shows ago. 4.5 is not a speedster. 4.5 is an elementary school kid running to go to the bathroom.
Then you should talk to someone in 3 Down Nation about that moniker.
Yeah, I know. What 4.5 is not speed. Dear God. Tony Simmons at 4.29. That was a speedster when he was here with the Lions. That's speed. Right? I mean, I will agree with Arthur. We have quick returners that can make a cut left and right, but it's not getting us anywhere. But, run in the middle and then bounce outside with quick and then use the average speed you got to get what you can. But if you bounce outside, you're going to get more than when you try to bust through the middle. Our return game sucks. Our coverage game is decent. And I forgot to mention Sean White when we talk about overcoming adversity. Yeah, the kicking game. You know what? Lining up with, what was it, 0.2 of a second to 0 time left on the clock. And he's had a kick blocked already. He's got to leave it behind. And I'm glad he's a seasoned veteran because he's able to block that out already. But I want to give him kudos for again, making that kick in crunch time when it counts and being able to just let go of that block extra point.
Yeah. Blake says, let Barry Hill return kicks. That's an idea. Remember when, before we cut number 7, Lucky, he had a punt return touchdown. I remember that he caught it in the end zone and ran it all the way back for a touchdown.
Because he doesn't try to run through tackles. He gets outside.
He's a speedster. Yeah.
He is.
So maybe Barry Hill returning kicks.
I think he's probably our last most dynamic returner is Lucky Whitehead, but it wasn't full time. It was just months of spot duty, right?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, that's why not?
He's the fastest returner. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he's 4.3 or so.
Yeah, that's. I would support that. I think that'd be a good idea. All right, So let me show one play, since we have been, harping on the special teams being how bad they are. I want to show one good thing, and I think who was it? Someone earlier on, Captain Buttershirt talked about this, right? Carl Meyer. I wanted to show this.
Oh, that beauty of it. Because I think this was the punt on that second and 3 where we got stuffed. And this was beautiful.
Look at that. Look at
that
where
was
it lands.
Gorgeous. That was Louis Pasagli-esque.
Exactly, yeah. It lands like right outside the 1.5 yard line there. I mean, that's, when that happened, I was just, like what you said, reminds me of Louis Pasagli, right?
Yeah.
So.
And
So
Paul McCallum could place those too.
Yeah, it's a skilled position, right? Arthur says he doesn't like kicks, but kicks are a skilled position. Kicks returns. This whole kicking game is a big part of why.
Well, Arthur didn't say he doesn't like kicks. He just says there's too many. He didn't say he doesn't like.
Hey, I watch football, like world football, like soccer. I watch football, World Cup football. That's a lot of kicks. I love the kicks.
Right.
Just not in
Aussie
Canadian
rules football, a lot of kicks. But anyway,
it's not in Canadian football.
That's not.
And the main reason is because we don't have a return. Now, if we had a really good returner, maybe that will change my mind.
Thank you, Blake. I was just gonna say, don't go after that kick. That kick was great because we're talking special teams. We're not going to talk about the defense. We've talked about that already.
That's right.
But yes, Blake is right.
Shout out to that, because that was a beautiful kick.
Blake, you and I are on the same page, bro. I like that, except for the Darnell Clash thing.
Did you get World Cup tickets?
Did you get World Cup tickets?
I'm tempted. Once in a lifetime, right?
This is for you too, Arthur, since I don't watch the Canucks.
Oh, well, definitely it's a second string quarterback, because Cheeto can get you 40 to 55 points and has some game, but he may not last long because his concussion history is worse than Mazzoli's. So.
Yeah. Any word on temporary home for the Lions? I haven't heard much about it yet. There was some talk about maybe playing in different parts of the province.
Yeah,
that would be fun, right? Getting more fans from across the province.
And we were worried about taking time off, so I want to get to home games.
Yeah,
it's not, and it's only for a portion of the year. It's not for the whole season. So.
Yeah. All right, so we get to our next segment now, which is Arthur's 3 questions.
All right. We just had Canada Day. So, Roland, there was some footage of you beside the flag. Yes. Did you wave the flag on Canada on July 1st?
I did. I mean, not
physically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could reach it and wave it.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Roland is a proud Canadian, a flag-waving, flag-hanging Canadian. So, who is your Canadian player of the game?
That's hard, because I'm gonna give it to McInnes.
What? Blake is gonna be very disappointed in you.
What?
Blake is going to be no, Sean White.
Sean White.
Sean White.
Give it to Sean White. Well, no, he's saying Nathan Rourke.
Nathan Rourke. Okay.
I mean,
sorry, I cut you off.
Nathan Rourke played really well as well, but it wasn't his best game. We've seen him play better games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason. I mean, nothing against him. He did really well, and we wouldn't have won if he wasn't there.
So McInnes.
But McInnes, because when Hatcher was dropping the balls, McInnes was clutch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
excellent. Well, excellent choice. Yeah, yeah. He bailed out the Lions a lot to move the ball, and throughout the game.
Yeah,
that was huge.
6 out of 8 targets, 109 yards. So that's his best game this year.
Yeah,
so that's why I gave it to him.
A number of key second down conversions to keep the ball moving, keep the chains moving. So yeah, I think that's a pretty solid choice there, Roland.
But also shout out to White for making that last field goal. I mean, the pressure. I mean, if it was me, I would fold under pressure. But
especially after getting a kick blocked earlier, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So the pressure, but he still gets it done.
Roland won't fold under pressure. Roland's
so humble.
solid.
Yeah,
Roland's solid.
And then a shout out to Kotoy too for going down when Hatcher a couple years ago didn't go down, right? Or when we
Dominic Rhymes. Dominic Rhymes.
Oh, sorry, Rhymes, not Hatcher. Okay.
All right, second, Greg.
Sir.
Greg looks out for the young, the little guy, the unsung person, the underappreciated. Who is your unsung hero?
My unsung hero, and I hope they're listening, is number 19. Aiden Ebenhart got him in place for their first touchdown. That was a gritty, tough. He fought hard every catch he made. He took a shot.
Yeah,
and
he took some
kept
shots.
Going. He was not going down after first contact. And I don't know, when he plays with some grit, and that's the bucknicity in him, the buckness, whatever you want to call it. He is starting to embody that, and I really think some of the players will feed off of that. And honorable mention, Carl Meyer for that punt that put them where they needed to. Unfortunately, like Blake said, complimentary football didn't do it, but Carl Meyer, when punting when we didn't think we should have been punting, he did flip the field. As Arthur said on game day yesterday. So, but Aiden Eberhart, my unsung hero.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid choice. Do you think he's a Keon Hatcher replacement when Keon's getting up there? Like he has that, like Eberhart's got that.
Yeah, he goes up.
Grit.
He goes up fearlessly for that 50-50 ball, and he takes a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And speed wise, they're probably about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's just hopefully he gets schemed in more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at least he is another option. I mean, if you got to bring Cotoy, keep him into block, you've got a dependable set of hands. Because I mean, most targets he's caught. So. And he's my choice for the third leading receiver on this team. Remember my prediction.
Yeah, he was 5 for 4 for 53 yards. Pretty good.
But those were a hard fought 50 something yards. So
100%.
Yeah. 100%. He's probably wearing ice pegs after that game, but hey, you know what? Good on him.
Yeah.
Okay, and my big picture moment, last week I called out the OC. I think, and then this week I got to throw a bouquet. So it's gutsy, 28 seconds. He worked with Nate, quick offense. You know what? Yes, there was a 15-yard penalty, on the convert by Montreal. So. Yeah. The Lions were gifted, but again, they were, like I was telling Roland the whole game, these penalties will even out a little bit. I mean, it won't be like, equal, but you got to think some calls are going to go the Lions' way. Just because if it's too lopsided, it looks bad on the officials.
Looks bad on the league.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Sorry.
So, anyways, they. Play calls, I think he adjusted. He made some good changes in the second half, good second half adjustments from an offensive point of view. And I like those RPOs, like what Blake was saying. Yeah, that's a big call because he's like 2 or 3 yards. Like Sean goes, I just need a little bit more. Yeah. And he just said, let's go for it, right?
When they lined up, I thought they were going into the end zone.
Yeah.
And that's what the Montreal defense thought too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they were all backed up.
And that's that toughness. That's that directness. Sometimes, on a running play in the third or fourth quarter, second and 3, they're gonna get stuffed. But more often than not,
Orbital.
Chance favors the bold, right?
Yeah.
So kudos to Buck for navigating that. I think the second half in particular.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. And Kotoy, so there's a lot of talk. Kotoy lunged towards the two defenders and kind of, invited them to tag him, right?
But I think they're saying in the last couple of minutes when you go down,
I think
the clock stops anyways. Yeah.
Whether you're contact or not.
Yeah.
That's true. They should have waited till it was closer to 0.
Mistakes. Yeah. Maybe they're a little overconfident. They could have used it. They could have used a timeout, right? So sometimes the coach will let it go down to 1 second, call a timeout, and then you go and kick the field goal. I don't know if they had a timeout to give.
They did. I think they did have timeouts.
Mm.
So Have says, you guys seeing improvement with the coaching since week 1, even though they're 2 to 3?
2 and 3. Yeah.
Let me read.
Can I take that one?
Yeah, let Roland read.
Yeah.
Huge Brandon says, still not liking Buck Pierce's offense. Got to think about taking the pressure off Buck and hiring an offensive coordinator like Darrell Bevel or Bill O'Brien. Okay, go Greg.
Well, again, 2 and 3. Again, I'm with Arthur. I mean, you're not supposed to make excuses because they're all professional athletes. But the first game after a short week coming into Winnipeg, who hasn't played yet, that's a write-off. And then QB2, you thought you had what you had, and you learned the tough way. You didn't have what you needed in QB2. So yeah, I think there's definite improvement with the 2 and 3, and I think the improvement's more in the players on what they're doing with the game plan and how they're carrying themselves on the field versus the coaching. But the coaching is enough to keep the players' belief in that coaching plan. So yeah, I do think, I'm not saying we turn the corner. We're at the corner taking a peek around. Now we just need to take a step around it. Then I'll be okay. We got Edmonton next week, right? In Edmonton?
Yes.
In Edmonton. Morbital says, regarding coaching, he's leaving Rourke out there on short yardage, which is the right change. Okay, so Morbital, you're okay with Rourke taking the risks with the short yardage. That's what I'm hearing.
They gotta find someone to do the short yardage. This is ridiculous.
Pickett. But then,
they gotta find another option. I mean, I don't like having a QB3 that only comes in doing sneaks, and then that's their specialty. I think you should be developing quarterbacks, but
our QB
there's got to be another option.
Yeah, because we don't want to, one bad tackle, one bad slip up, and
it has to be another option. Right? Yeah, and it's because we don't have a credible QB2 that we can rely on for this team. Like, this team needs better, very good to elite quarterbacking to win. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? I mean, the way it's the salary cap has been, where the money is spent on this team. So you have to protect your investment. So there's got to be something we can do.
Well, we know QB3 can't get short yardage, so you'd use a fullback like we did with Mackey, but I don't know if Pickett is comfortable handling the ball. Yeah, Bryce should be, but he can't. He hasn't proven it yet.
But he needs to be coached. He needs to learn. I mean, that's not something.
But maybe it's a snap that's slow because he's big.
Yeah, and again, like Arthur said, they're a yard off the ball, and like I said, we know the snap count. Why can't you get a yard?
Yeah.
And I'm with Luke Wilson. I hate quarterback sneaks too, and there's too many of them in the league. Especially when you play Winnipeg, because they shoot for 3rd and 1, and then they bring in Streveler. But that's another discussion for another day.
Wearing a defensive line down, right? Shoot for that, and that's just one more running play they can tee off on a D line.
Yeah.
So Hathalai says, well said. That gives me hope for the season come November. I think he's talking about the improvements in the coaching. Okay, awesome, great. All right, now we go for our predictions.
Greg, you're first.
Well, shall we celebrate the winning prediction for the game we just won? Because you guys, man.
Okay, so yeah, let's review last week's predictions.
So last week's predictions, Greg was 28-12 for the Montreal Alouettes.
Now, let me have the
Roland
that Mazzoli was playing. Come on, give me that at least.
I mean, sure.
Okay, thanks. That's all I need. Go on.
Sure. Roland chose BC 30-24 BC. That's what Roland
definitely with Rourke
chose.
Playing.
And I chose 24-21 BC.
Oh, pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah, it's really close. So actual is 21-20. So you're the closest, Arthur.
Roland and I get the prediction right. We picked the right team.
Blake says, didn't I say my heart said 24-21?
Yeah, you said your heart said that, and your head said 50-12 Montreal. I think you said 50. So, but you did have the Hamilton Toronto game right. I think that score was what? Well, you got the 50 right anyway. But anyway,
Gregory, please go first.
In Edmonton, right?
In Edmonton, they are now 1-3. big win.
Yeah, but they're at home. They have some confidence. But you know what?
And that running game looks pretty devastating that they have. It looks really strong with Rankin and Leak.
Yeah, but you know what? If I'm going on the premise that our QB1's going to play.
Yeah.
We seem to have the Elkies number, and I'm going 31-19, 27-19 Lions.
27-19 BC.
Yeah. Can I throw in I was not happy about that. We always win in Montreal. That's giving them bulletin board material. But you know what? I'm going to say we seem to have the Elkimos number. If I may borrow that, Wayne. So yeah, I'm going 27-19 Lions.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So Lions 35, Elks 27.
Are D's going to give up 27 points against Trey? Well, yeah, it could happen. I mean,
could happen because that running game is pretty strong. Yeah. And Trey Ford. All right. Cody Scherf played a couple of series there, even though Trey Ford was healthy. So I think they kind of were mixing it up. All right. My prediction is 24-17 BC.
Ooh, okay.
All right. I'm going to say 36-27 BC.
Ooh.
36. Oof.
Wow. All right. Wow. All three down bros and Blake choosing the Lions to win.
Yes. Is that Blake's head or heart talking or both?
Wayne says, I won't stop you, Greg.
Okay, I can use Elkimos. Thank you, Wayne. I hope my mom didn't hear that I'm picking the Lions over her Elkimos, so all due respect, Mom.
Has realized to stack the box and make.
Yes, yeah. I was just going to ask, do you guys dare? I mean, is Trey Ford the guy? We dared Strevler to beat us with his arm, and we got rudely surprised. But do we dare Trey Ford to beat us with his arm? Because he throws high.
That's the problem with the Lions' defense, right? Like they're susceptible to the run, and they're susceptible to the double move deep pass. So where do you want Bolio to stand? Do you want him in the box, or you want him like playing center field to help out on these DBs, getting like so they? So they'll be schemed up. I suspect it's gonna be like a cover 2 man underneath. But a zone defense is better against the run. So well, Benny will.
And is Trey Ford smart enough and good enough to pick apart his own defense like Caleros and Trevor Harris?
Well, I mean, Trey Ford has his moments, but the body of work suggests he can't hit the simple throws. Mind you, today he looked decent. So
and they could always throw Fajardo in there too, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, still going with our lines. Got my orange colored glasses on.
Yeah.
All right. So
we just need a return game.
Well, goes without saying.
Yeah, because the Eskimos can throw Leak back there, right?
And
that number 86 is a decent returner.
Loves his first read only.
Yeah, Trey Ford loves his first read only, says Blake. Well, we'll see. I'm hoping for a big win.
I don't care a win. I just want to win. I don't care how wrong my prediction is.
No, you want a big win. You always want them to score 50 on the teams. Or is this an O'Shea team?
Just an O'Shea team.
Yeah. It's not ask for a miracle.
What? I was just asking for a win. I don't care if it's big or not. I just want to win. I'd like to be coming home to Saskatchewan. What would be if
3-3?
3-3. I'd like to be at 3-3 with Saskatchewan coming in here, because that's going to be like a Saskatchewan home game. We know there's going to be a bunch of green, misguided people in that stadium. All due respect to the transplanted prairie people. But...
Oh no, Blake says he's talking about the return game.
Yeah. We need one, but ain't gonna. Yeah, I hear you, Blake.
Well, maybe they'll listen to you, Blake, and put Barry Hill in there. We'll see.
They won't. They need him. They need him as the Z speedster, right?
Yeah.
Well, Lucky's just working his farm right now. Go get him. Just bring him in as a designated returner, a la Gizmo. I don't care.
Gizmo or Pinball? Who you like better, Greg?
Gizmo.
Yeah.
Pinball was overrated, and he's a lousy football guy. I lost a lot of respect for him with the player who shall not be named fiasco.
Yeah, that's right. post the fastest time in the 40. I have no idea.
Okay. It's not
Between us three, right now, Roland, because I have a pickleball injury, and Greg's knee is being reconstructed, is still in, well, tenuous, right, Greg?
Well, wait, Perry. Depends. If there's a burger at the finish line, it's me, hands down.
I think Roland right now.
I think if there's a burger, then Greg's gonna tackle me to the ground. Then he'll run over my body to get to the burger.
Hey, we could do that for charity. We could do it for BC Children's Hospital. What's that guy downstage? Run, Rick, run, right?
Yeah. Oh, Jeanette says we'll be at the game on Sunday, bringing the noise and wearing our orange. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see you on the.
Please hold up a 3DB sign so we can find you.
Blake says no. I would smoke all three of you probably.
For a burger?
He is quite a bit younger than us, Greg. Unless we cheat. Unless we cheat.
No, you know what they say: if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right?
Well, we can show Blake what illegal contact on a receiver is firsthand.
Oh, okay. Oh no, and I said misguided prairie people that are here and Oh, I'm so sorry, Wayne. I saw green on your profile pic. I thought that might have been an Elkano shirt, but I'm not sure. If you're from Saskatchewan, you have to bleed green. That's just a rule. So
Great. Can't you just make friends with people?
I try. If Wayne can get us into that place that's got the deep fried steak, because I don't remember who that caller was, but he said we'll come to Saskatchewan to do a stream if he gets us there, and he says it's done, but I haven't seen him.
So Jeanette says we'll do. Todd says see you there. Says Todd will be at the game as well. Wayne says I now live in Victoria. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Blake's upping the ante. He would give us 10 yards.
What?
And he would still win.
What, a 40? Wait a minute, a 40? Well, we're doing a 40 time, right?
Yeah,
40-yard dash time?
He'd give us a 30-yard dash, and he'd still beat our time. Or is it just who crosses the finish line first? Oh, I appreciate that, Wayne. Say, I made a friend.
Oh, Perry, Arthur. Perry's saying pickleball's for old.
Perry, let's get you on the court. Let's see how old or young you are.
That's how Arthur got his injury.
Yeah,
Perry wants Arthur to run the 3-down bros, and I was calling Arthur old. Man, oh man.
Let's get you on the court there, Perry, and see how well you dance when I bag you a few times.
Uh-oh. The more orange, the better. Not a girl, Jeanette.
Yes. So we'll watch out for all of you guys on the TSN feed. All right. Well, everyone, it's been great chatting with you. Nice to always be able to do this every week.
Well, especially after a big win, Roland, because it's been a while.
That's right.
Oh, kill. Hey, I will not touch that because, I know a lot of great women who play pickleball. It's not girl ball. Oh, I know, but it's a misogynist comment. I'm not going to dignify.
Yes. All right.
Hey, Roland, can you snap that comment? Let's leave that one there. I like that one.
All right. Hab says, thanks. All go Lions. Blake says, on that note, it's time to go. It is.
Yeah.
Great show. Captain Better Show. Hey, guys, great chatting with all of you tonight. Have a great evening and have a good week. And we'll talk again next week after hopefully a great victory. Okay, take care, guys. Have a great evening and talk to you soon.
Go Lions.
Good night.
Lions.